Hey guys, I was going to do a quick video on some of my CW Morse that I've been doing. What I did, first of all, let's talk about this. This is I believe this is the Vibroplex Code Warrior Junior. I actually bought this when I first became a ham back in like 2004. And I put it away for years, you know, and didn't use it. I got into radio and got out, got in and got out. So I actually don't remember where or how I got this, but I looked online and I'm pretty sure this is the Code Warrior Junior, and you can get this on DX Engineering for $109. So I was going to show you, I didn't see any other videos out there about this, so I was going to show it to you. Okay, so I'll give you my impressions of this. I am not a super expert. I am not a designer. I've seen Begalis. This is no Begali. This is not super high-end, $300. So what I would say is that for Morse code keys, they are surprisingly expensive. You know, you would think something like this, a little bit of metal, a few wires, $35, $45, that would seem expensive. But $109 for a basic Morse code paddle seems really high. Like every single Morse code paddle out there is surprisingly high, but it's probably because there's just not enough people and they can't mass produce things. So what I'm going to say is, for an entry-level paddle, I would say this is a good paddle. For someone that's getting into the hobby but you're not quite sure if you're going to stay with it, you know, you're not quite sure Morse, you want something with quality. At the same time, you don't want to spend $300, right? So this would be what I would consider the lower end of nice models of paddles. So it's not the $300, $400 more $100 Begalis, but at the same time, it's not a $20 piece of crap, right? It's very heavy. I still find that I have to hold on to it. I still have to hold on to it because it will move on you. It's heavy. That thing is really heavy. It's probably like 2-3 pounds. It's good, and it's got rubber feet, but it's not super high quality. You know what I'm saying? So to set the you can set these to be a big wide, you know, however you want them, or you can set them to be very narrow. And you see I set it so close there that this little screw here is kind of like a spacer. This screw is like a spacer. It forces this screw to get only so close. And so you kind of have to mess with these two screws together. This one moves and this one moves. You kind of have to mess with them to get them close. And what I will say is this is a very good keyer. It's something that you can use for a long time, but it's definitely not super high quality. So what I'm finding is, even when I set it like that, it will drift on me. And you start thinking, you know, making these keys you would think would be kind of easy. What is it? It's just a paddle. It's two things that touch each other, right? Well, actually, making one of these is probably pretty tough, because as you use it, it's hard to keep it from drifting on you. You know, so I could see why this is so difficult to build one of these. I still think they're overpriced generally. By the way, I actually don't know what these screws here are for. I don't know what these screws here are for, or what this gap is for. So, okay, so that being said, this is the Vibroplex Code Warrior Junior, and I wanted to show it to you. I would say this is a good entry-level keyer. It won't travel well. I cannot stand the idea of traveling with this. The wires on the bottom seem to me to be very kludgy. I mean, look at that. There's no strain relief on that. How are you going to put a strain relief on that? Maybe you're supposed to use these screws here at the bottom. See these screws? But I don't have that. If you pull on this, all these are going to rip out. I don't like this setup down here. Okay, so I don't want to travel with this. It's big, it's clunky, it is not a travel keyer. So I do not travel with this. Alright, that being said, I'm going to tell you what I've been doing to practice lately. So I set my radio to not transmit, and you can do that with your break-in, BK in. You can set that so it doesn't transmit, but you can still hear yourself, right? Okay, so I've been practicing. I'm not that great of a sender, right? So how do you get better at sending? You practice. So what I've been doing is kind of a minimum per day practice. So one thing I like to do is go through the alphabet. Okay, I'm actually going a lot faster than I normally would key. I would actually key more like 18 or 19 words per minute. A, C, B, D, E. Okay, I go through the alphabet, A through Z, and that's a real good way to get in. That will let you hit every single letter when you do that, and it'll also force you to use your mind to think of the letter. The same thing you would do when you're having a conversation. So I would go through the alphabet a few times. Okay, also, and this is kind of cool also, here's my idea. I got a book, and I said every single day, it doesn't matter what the book is, I'm going to do one page, and I'm going to key the whole page out, and I've been doing that for a few days now, and it actually really does work, and it does make you better. So I take the book, and I just start keying, and I start to notice and I learn what letters I have trouble with. And I start to learn how to do, instead of doing a C like this, I learn how to do it in a better motion, like, see, you learn how to do the shortcuts instead of hitting it back and forth like that. You know how to hold it just right, and that's what the iambic key does, is that it's supposed to help you go faster. If you don't tap out every single letter, every single dit and da. And that is the best way I can describe it, is to just show you. Okay, a C, here's a C. That's the wrong way to do it. Do you see that the difference? Instead of going ba 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 ba, I hold them together. So if you notice, when I hold it together, that's also a period. So instead of doing this for a period, you see that's like a shortcut. And these are the things that you learn when you do a lot of keying. And you start to realize, I'm doing it wrong, you know? And I also get kind of tired of doing this, and so I start thinking of shortcuts. And so when I see letters or words like about, instead of typing out the entire A, B, O, U, T, I'd use the shortcut A, B, T. And I start to learn. But doing this, taking a book and doing the entire page, makes you a better keyer. I'm doing it, and I'm reaping the benefits. So let me do that real quick. Okay, and then lastly, I've said all that, and I just wanted to say I have trouble with H's, S, H, and fives, because H's are 4 dots. It's very easy to let up too soon. Oops, I screwed it up. I screwed it up again. I'm going to try H. It's because you have to hold it down just long enough. Those letters are the hardest for me. A J or maybe an H. An H is probably my biggest problem. I actually start to get to where I hate doing them. And lastly, I practice the standard QSO that I have where I send my RST, my QTH, and my name and my call sign. I practice that just so I have it down pat. And here's that is. This is something you want to practice and just get it so good that it's just almost automatic. So let's do that real quick. Okay, that was my CQ. And so I pretend like, okay, I'm talking to somebody and I use a call sign of somebody that I know, KQ9L, and then I pretend like I'm talking to them, okay? Okay, then I send my signal report. My QTH. And then finally my name. See, that's the problem. Sometimes I hit the dot and I hit it too many times or not enough times. It just, to me, I have trouble with that. Okay, so I practice the signal report, RST, QTH, and my name. I do a full page. I just do this every day, one full page, and I'm already getting better. I can tell it. I can just tell.